USL Championships Week 11 takes us to Oklahoma City, where the Energy FC have a home matchup against Real Monarchs Salt Lake City. Spencer Siegel here with George Metellus. And this matchup, of course, brought to you by Mercy, the Energy's official medical provider and presenting partner for tonight's match. At Mercy, your life is our life's work. Learn more at mercy.net/energy sports. And George, we take a look at these two teams. Monarchs off to a bit of a slower start than they're normally used to, and with their first home loss last week, shifting to the road, the pressure sort of shifts to them.
Absolutely. They're going up against a squad that has not lost at home this season in OKC, so it is going to be very important for Real Monarchs to get 3 points. This is a squad that's usually in playoff contention, a top 4 team in the Western Conference. They're out of the top 8 right now, so they have to play well, and they have to pick up 3 points on the road against OKC.
OKC leads the all-time series 4-3. Our players to watch, we start with Deshaun Brown for OKC. He's been one of the best players in the league when he's playing 6 goals in 6 games.
Yeah, he's part of, I like to call it the Reggae Boy trio with himself, Javon Watson, and Owain Gordon, the 3 Jamaicans, certainly a devastating trio in attack for Oklahoma City Energy. And if those 3 play well and they get the surface to Deshaun Brown, he will score a lot of goals in this game.
On the other side for Monarchs, they have a lot of shifting around, especially with their goalkeeper out, David Ochoa, and Michael Chang steps in, and he continues to be the leader of this team in the midfield.
Yeah, goals, shots, and tackles. He's also the leader in terms of chances created for Real Monarchs, so he is going to have to play well in order to lead Real Monarchs to their first win on the road this season. If he plays well, he is going to be a major threat to that OKC defense, and that could lead to positive things for the side from Utah.
These two teams split the season series last year. We've got much more to come here on USL Championship Saturday.
Goals are something we outline for ourselves, and oftentimes they can be pretty lofty. When things begin to line up the way we think they should, we appreciate those who helped us along the way, like the help you get with commercial banking from FFB. Our experts are ready to partner with you to help you manage cash flow, oversee accounts through online banking, and help you secure a business line of credit, because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
Mercy helps the Energy get to the top of their game. We can help you get to the top of yours.
Outlining your own destiny is something we all take pride in, and knowing we're doing what we love is what makes this life adventure so exciting. Isn't it nice to have a banking partner that's along for the ride? FFB makes life easier with a simple click and snap, so things like mobile banking and deposits can be done anywhere, anytime. Plus free bill pay, person-to-person transfers, and Apple Pay. With free ATMs worldwide, why wouldn't you want a bank that gives you this much freedom? FFB. We go where you go.
Back at Taft Stadium, getting you ready for kick here between OKC and Real Monarchs of Salt Lake City as we take a look at our starting lineups today, brought to you by First Fidelity Bank. You see the number of changes for Oklahoma City, and really both sides undergoing a lot of different changes. You see that Alexi Bossetti not in the lineup, Mike DeFont as well. We know Deshaun Brown's up top, but they're opting to go for sort of that 4-2-3-1 that they can meld into sometime.
Yeah, it's going to be predicated on the pace of Gordon and Cato out wide, and how well Harris and Garcia in the midfield kind of protect Javon Watson, who's playing that number 10 role in behind Deshaun Brown.
On the other side for Monarchs, 5 changes from last week. We know David Ochoa, the goalkeeper, is with the U20 squad for the USA, but you also don't have Douglas Martinez up top.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Tate Schmidt plays up top there with Ricardo Avila as well. We talked about Michael Chang as a player to watch, but also Portillo and Delence in the midfield. Those two will have a difficult time trying to slow down and contain that Caribbean attack, as I like to call it. Cato representing Trinidad, and then those 3 Jamaicans in Watson, Gordon, and Brown.
We have a lot of changes on both sides and a lot of soccer to get to here today with OKC and Real Monarchs. The Monarchs are opting for the black jerseys today, and they'll start with possession. OKC in the home whites. Happy to have you along for this one on ESPN Plus as we're just about ready for kickoff. Any specific keys to the game that you have for today?
Well, I think for Oklahoma City, they have to be aggressive in attack. Remember, undefeated at home. The home team has won every single encounter between these two head-to-head. So they have to be aggressive in attack, press the ball, try to dispossess Real Monarchs as quickly and as often as possible.
Well, they're starting early as Josh Hurd gets a good run in, and that just narrowly misses Tate Schmidt, and Noah Powder almost had himself a 22nd goal.
That would have been a spectacular start for Real Monarchs, and for Real Monarchs, they have to make sure they're organized defensively, make sure that they don't allow too much space for OKC Energy in attack, and then with the play out wide, that's going to be the key. We just saw Josh Hurd down the right side, Noah Powder, the left back, bombing all the way forward down the left side. So Josh Hurd down the right, Powder down the left. That could be a combination that disrupts this OKC defense.
Here's Omar Gordon trying to get in. He's cut out as Powder takes it on the far side, pushes it up ahead. Good crowd on hand at Taft Stadium. For Oklahoma City so far, we mentioned it, at home this season, they've really enjoyed their successes. They're 4-0 all-time against the Monarchs at home and 3-1 this year.
Yeah, and for Oklahoma City, a team trying to get back into the playoffs, currently 8th in the West. There's a mess. There's about 4 or 5 teams with 14 points there. So for Oklahoma City, picking up 3 points is going to be very important. And remember, this is the first of 3 straight home games, so they have to pick up 9 points in that span to get themselves into a solid position, preferably into the top 4 of the Western Conference playoff picture.
A new playoff format this year in the championship with the 36 teams. 10 from each conference make their way into the playoffs at the end of the year, with the bottom 4 needing to play a play-in game. This is a foul that'll go the way of Oklahoma City. They'll actually peg McKeel Williams for that one, so Monarchs will take it back over. Long ball up ahead, Tate Schmidt trying to get in on it, and it's cut out.
Cody Lorendi doing an excellent job commanding the penalty area for OKC. You're talking about a veteran goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in USL Championship. Goalkeeper of the year a couple seasons ago, I should say. So Cody Lorendi, the anchor to the defense of Oklahoma City.
Kept alive in the midfield. Here's Chang, he's tripped up. And the first action for Michael Chang, we'll see a free kick, one that you might think has an opportunity to get played into the box.
And the referee having a word with Javon Watson, who, with Michael Chang being such a dangerous player, Javon Watson is going to have to track back and put in some hard work defensively to limit the chances for Real Monarchs, especially up the middle. That is going to be something. If they can clog the middle, force them out wide, it might make it easier for Oklahoma City Energy to defend.
Avila opts to go wide. Andrew Brody on the near side. Hurd dumps it off for Chang. Chang gets it into the box. Nicely cut out by the OKC defense.
You can see the value of Chang, his ability to play out wide, get in some space. He saw that Schmidt was there, played the ball into Schmidt. Didn't quite connect with him, but still, he had that space and he had the vision to see that Schmidt was in the area. So that could be something to look forward to for Real Monarchs as this match progresses.
Martin Vasquez talks about Ricardo Avila in the midfield as one of the most technically sound players he has. We've seen it in the early goings. Schmidt can't handle that one.
And what we're seeing just from Real Monarchs, we're seeing a lot of possession, which is the way they want to play. They want to have most of the ball. Powder pushing up a little bit higher, and Portillo is the one essentially playing the left back position to fill in that space when Powder bombs forward. So a little bit of a switch there for Real Monarchs and Martin Vasquez.
It might consider to be something that they want to do, not only because they're so talented and able to do it, and here's a turnover and problems for OKC. Hurd looking for an entry feed. Dropped back. And that's a corner kick.
And Portillo coming in to bail out Hurd there on the right side, and then tried to send in the service for Michael Chang. Tate Schmidt was there as well. But OKC doing well to get the numbers back, get bodies in the area to prevent those spaces, prevent that ball from getting through and filtering to the Real Monarchs attack. So good, strong start for Real Monarchs here on the road, being aggressive going forward.
Portillo slips before he takes try number 2. Let's reset.
One thing's for sure, OKC don't want a Trent Alexander-Arnold situation.
Whipped inside, there was an opportunity, claims of a foul. It stays alive on the left side. Again, it goes back in, and this time, Atiba Harris just juts it out the right side.
Yeah, OKC right now, they are definitely in some problems here. They're feeling the pressure from Real Monarchs. It's a good job from the visitors so far.
Hurd settles it for Chang. Chang gets around one. He's held up, and a foul in an advantageous spot for Monarchs.
Yeah, it's a clear foul there by Christian Ibiaga. Chang was about to round him and get into a bit of space to possibly either make the pass or take the shot with his left foot, gets around him. You can see the pulling of the jersey there. Ibiaga has no complaints. That's a clear foul in favor of Real Monarchs, and well done by Michael Chang to cut back to his left to get into that space.
Chang will step over it. He scored 4 of his 5 goals with his left foot. This is certainly a spot where he might take a crack in the early goings. Chang goes for goal. It's blocked down by the wall. Second opportunity, Powder, and he skies it.
Well done. Well set up was the wall there for Energy FC. Cody Lorendi, as I mentioned before, a veteran goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers, putting his wall up. And Chang, possible handball there, and Mikhail Williams, possibly. It did go off of his elbow, but obviously he's standing in the wall, so they're not going to call it. Well done by the wall. A lot of times you see the wall jump or bodies that the defenders will twist, and that'll give that space for the ball to get past them. He just held his ground and kept the ball from getting to Lorendi. So good defending there on the wall.
This is the first chance that the Greens have had in their offensive end. Let's see what they can make of it. Nikhil Williams dumps it down. Cordell Cato back to Williams. Ibiaga. And on the far side for Atiba Harris.
See Oklahoma City 3 in the back here when they have possession, trying to get bodies forward. With Ibiaga and Atiba Harris as the safety valves.
Ibiaga's long ball intended for Gordon, just out of reach. 10 minutes in, we've seen OKC build from the back, and we've seen Monarchs push quickly, as they do again here.
Yeah, Monarchs, they want to play quickly because they don't want OKC to get settled defensively. So they want to run at them, get them in a position where they leave holes in that midfield, in that defense, so that they can exploit it, and then obviously try to get Schmidt touches, get Michael Chang touches, so that they can get shots on frame, shots on target. So it's a smart tactic by Martin Vasquez, the manager of Real Monarchs.
Avila couldn't hold on to it. It stays alive. And Cato's potential cross that was deflected out for a corner. First real opportunity and the first corner of the game for OKC. Cato swings it in. Low ball, and it's knocked down and saved. Andrew Putna, the goalie for Monarchs, who's made 4 appearances with RSL, Real Salt Lake. And with no David Ochoa, he's going to have to be big today.
Yeah, that was a very tricky save that he made there, because it was Owain Gordon flashing in with the header near post, flicked it on. Tricky save there, tricky touch off of the head of Gordon, and Putna there to make a pretty comfortable save. So well done by the Real Monarchs goalkeeper there. And a very interesting setup here for OKC with Harris in the back. But we're seeing them, when they have the possession, they're playing 3 in the back when they have the ball. Obviously, when they defend, they're going to defend with 4-4-2, but in attack, they're pushing, just keeping 3 back.
Tate Schmidt tries to lob it in. Monarchs will reset from the back. Now Brody wants it on the near side. Joseph Okumu will instead send it back out to the far edge. DeLentz. His cross cut out. Gordon, though, too heavy.
The Real Monarchs seeing some things out wide. Not much through the middle right now, but definitely the wide play working with Hurd on the right side, DeLentz on the left side, even Powder pushing up. So trying to make things happen out wide. Try to stretch out that defense of OKC to create some spaces in the middle. You stretch out that back line, you leave holes in the middle, some quick passing, good cut back inside, and you can create chances there and exploit those spaces.
Well, the one thing for Real Monarchs that they have had, despite the fact that we again see 5 changes today, is the consistency among the players who play week in and week out.
Absolutely, and what Martin Vasquez has done.
Here's an opportunity inside, Brown! And that wasn't too far off. Deshaun Brown's first real good look.
Yeah, and he actually had time to settle it and maybe even take another touch there. The ball goes his way. He has time to take another touch toward it. Goal. Portillo was there, but he had time to settle it a little bit more, even play it with the right foot and trying to curve it to that far post. Just rushed the shot a little bit. A little bit of a fortunate bounce for Deshaun Brown to get the ball into a good spot.
Lorendi, well out of his box, does well to get it away. He's got to hustle back to his spot.
And that was because Alvin Jones at that right back position.
Powder, inside, Schmidt. He'll look to get his cross in and instead win a corner.
Yeah, well, that play by Lorendi coming out of the box, it was a poor touch by Alvin Jones backwards. And so Cody Lorendi had to come out there and try to clean it up. And then Real Monarchs taking advantage of it. Michael Chang was open on at the penalty spot, but he was being marked by 3 defenders there, so it would have been difficult. Well done by Schmidt just to get the corner.
Portillo took it from the right side. He'll take it from the left. Whip it in, and it's headed on, and a good opportunity once again. But it's a goal kick.
Oh, that ball flashes through the 6-yard box there. It's a well-taken corner by Portillo. Just no one there to get a touch onto it to beat Lorendi. This is a positive start, positive football here, positive soccer by Real Monarchs here in the first 15 minutes of this first half.
Opportunities for both sides. 3 shots for the Monarchs. The Deshaun Brown shot, the lone effort on OKC's side.
And one thing you mentioned, Spencer, when it came to the changes for Real Monarchs, Martin Vasquez keeping it simple with his formation there. He thought he'd come out play a 4-2-3-1. Instead, it's been more of a 4-4-2. You keep it simple, and you give Michael Chang the freedom to drop back a little bit deeper in behind Tate Schmidt. Let him work his magic, move into those spaces, and make sure you just keep those lines solid. So they've been able to do that so far, and it's worked out well. They're getting the width, and they're dominating and having the better chances going forward.
Well, and the opportunities at the same token, 3 players have played 900 minutes. That's 10 90-minute games. That's all of the minutes on Monarchs. That's Atiba Harris, Mikhail Williams, and Rafa Garcia. Ross not too far back at 896, and Omar Gordon at 890.
Well, those 3 players that you mentioned, 3 players that are important defensively for Real Monarchs.
Hurd looking for a give and go. Mikhail Williams says absolutely not. Here comes Cato. Can't find Brown. Another turnover. And instead, though, a foul.
Yeah, good calm work by OKC to play that ball out of the back, especially Ibiaga with that touch out wide to Cato. And Deshaun Brown back toward goal in the midfield just to hold up the possession. He gets fouled. So it was good play by OKC in terms of their composure, playing it out of the back there, building the attack.
Greg Dopka is our referee today. In a matchup of 2 Western Conference teams who are both still very much in the hunt for the top of the Western Conference table.
OKC coming out. What appears to be a 4-3-3. With Jones and then Harris, Ibiaga, and Williams.
Lorendi has to be careful. Not fully taken care of. Cato waits for the second and third big bounce, and finally just bumped out of play.
And then in that midfield 3, you have Garcia, Ross, Javon Watson, and then up top, Gordon, Brown, and Cato. So trying to get that Caribbean connection.
Here's Brown again. It takes a deflection, and that's an easy one for Lorendi to handle. You mentioned Javon Watson, new signing this month. May 9th was when they picked him up, but he's got experience. He's 35 years old, one of the Jamaicans.
Yep, he is going to be someone that, mentioned the experience, but gives them that solidity in the midfield, someone who could link the midfield with the attack and connect with Gordon and Deshaun Brown.
Schmidt has options. He lays it off for Powder, looking inside, a little too high for Hurd.
Good run by Hurd to get inside of Mikhail Williams, get the right body positioning there. If Noah Powder takes a little bit off of that pass, more than, instead of putting the power, just kind of loops it up and chips it over, more with a more delicate of a touch there, Hurd would get a pretty good header into that far post, could really test Lorendi. So Powder has to take a little something off of that that pass there, but it was a good run by her to get inside Mikael Williams and get behind the defense of Harris and Ibiaga. You mentioned this Javon Watson. He's playing that deeper midfield role. You can see him kind of directing traffic a little bit too, so he's taking on that leadership role in the midfield in terms of telling the defenders where to make that pass. He's directed the pass there to Garcia. So that experience, that knowledge coming through for OKC to help them kind of slow the game down, gain some possession for themselves.
Here is Watson. Williams. Ibiaga back to Watson. Working from the back.
So Real Monarchs putting a little bit of pressure, the little high press there with Chang and Schmidt. Saw Portillo flash up high a little bit in the midfield, try to deny Ross the ball. So trying to win the ball back in their attacking half. A little bit Real Monarchs putting a little bit of high press on.
Williams can't handle that one from Ibiaga. Does it surprise you to see Javon Watson this deep?
No, it doesn't surprise me. It's a good move. You want a midfielder with experience to be in that position, directing traffic with his knowledge, telling the defenders where to go with the ball. He has his head on a swivel, so he sees what's going on to his left, to his right, probably what's going on ahead of him and forward. So for him to be directing the traffic like that, I think is a positive thing for OKC. Now they just have to get the ball quicker. That's the problem they're having so far, is playing the ball quickly into the midfield to Watson, to Callum Ross. We've seen very few touches from Callum Ross in this first 21 minutes or so. So they have to play the ball quicker into those spaces, into the midfield, and break down this Real Monarchs defense. But Watson playing deeper is a good thing for OKC.
Would help if they got it back quicker from the stands as well.
Yeah.
Schmidt trying to take everybody on himself, and he won't win the battle.
Talk about Watson playing deeper, but directing traffic. The problem is the rest of the OKC midfield specifically, they aren't holding the ball that much. OKC's having problems just stringing together 5 or 6 passes, building through the midfield. They want to play out of the back, and if you're going to play out the back, you have to hold the ball for more than 4 or 5 touches.
Javon Watson with 8 career MLS goals. Played for Houston Dynamo, FC Dallas, New England Revolution, who have a new coach.
Brilliant football here. Great build up down that right side between Alvin Jones, Gordon, and Ross.
Garcia on for Williams. Akil Williams does well to fend off most of Josh Hurd's standing tackle, and then I think he caught him in a tough spot.
Well, Williams was being harassed by Josh Hurd, and you can hear on the sideline, no foul, no foul. There's no foul there. Maybe a little bit of an arm pull by Josh Hurd, but definitely the elbow of Williams comes up, gets him in the face. That should be a yellow card on Mikael Williams.
Williams getting that talking to.
Hurd committed the foul first by pulling the arm, but Williams definitely elbowed him in the head there, in the face.
Williams plays it in, and it's handled easily by Putna.
Now trying to go over the top there. We saw just that particular pass right there. OKC putting a little bit higher pressure. Cato was up there with Ross and Gordon.
Almost threw in for Cato. A little more pressure. And the Monarchs have a chance to move forward. Here's Brody. Along that right flank. Hurd into the corner. Gets a cross in, and it had to be dealt with by Lorendi. He did so.
Wow, what a great job by Hurd to take it all the way to the end and then square it in. But there's no way Tate Schmidt should have gotten a touch on that ball when you consider he was the only attacking player in the area. There were four Oklahoma City defenders there. That should have been easily cleared away. That ball should have not reached Schmidt, but he out-hustled everyone else to get to that ball, and Lorendi making a quick save.
Exciting stuff through the first 25 minutes of this one. We've gone back and forth on both sides. Putnam played it well out of the back.
It's what happened there, Putnam turning it over because Garcia, Gordon, Cato, and Ross, alongside Deshaun Brown, they were pushing up high, denying any options for Putnam to play it short, so he had to play it long. Wasn't very accurate with the kick, and then turned it over. So the high press from OKC on that particular sequence worked, but they give the ball away, and Real Monarchs back with the possession.
This is an important stretch in the season for both teams. We've talked about how good Oklahoma City has been. Well, that was nearly a misplay in the back by Lorendi, but you talk about how good Oklahoma City has been at home, and this is a stretch for them where they're playing 5 consecutive games within the OKC area. The U.S. Open Cup game played at the University of Oklahoma, but it's 3 league games and 2 cup games, including their next one coming up against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and a chance to get some points as well as maybe a cup win or 2 at home.
Absolutely, and a couple of seasons ago, I believe 3 or 4 seasons ago, they made a pretty strong run in the U.S. Open Cup. They were the team, the USL team that made it the furthest. I believe it was 3 or 4 seasons ago when Jimmy Nielsen was the manager. So they can do it, and especially when you have games like that at home. You have to win every game you play at home. You have to go out and be aggressive and go for the win. On the road, you can settle for a draw, but at home, you have to win. You have to be the team that's the most aggressive at home. And right now, it looks like Real Monarchs is being the most aggressive side here as the road squad.
And Garcia wondering where his foul call went. It stays with Monarchs, and talking about a team who's really good at home as Chang plays a nice ball inside. Schmidt needs options and doesn't get any. Last season, a league best 13 wins, 2 draws, 41 points at Zions Bank Stadium for these Monarchs.
Yeah, and that's how you get into the playoffs. You win your games at home, and you try to win as many games as possible on the road. But if you can get a point or 2 on the road, that certainly will help your playoff chances. And so for Real Monarchs, they have to, the way their road form has been this season, they're going to need to be better than that at home unless they start improving their situation on the road. So Real Monarchs, they always have Zion Bank Stadium as a place that they can rely on to get them 3 points, but they have to be much better on the road to qualify for the playoffs.
Except for their most recent battle, as Watson trips up Monarchs player, and that gives the Monarchs possession back. You go back to last week, and it's their first home loss of the season. So, all right, they lost 2 games at home all year last year. So how do you respond? Well, last year, one of those losses then turned into the next week playing OKC, where they won that game 2-1.
OKC is a bit of a remedy when after they lose a home game. Yeah, it's a situation where for Real Monarchs, sometime if you lose at home, as they did against Fresno, you get away from home, you miss it. Makes you realize how important it is to play well at home, and especially if you get a road victory, that increases the confidence when you do go back home. So good to bounce back with a road win after a tough home loss.
Space on the left side. Williams tracks it down. Akil Williams played through. Watson for Garcia. Javon Watson looking for something.
He must have thought Putna wasn't paying attention, was off of his line, and so he went toward goal, or he was trying to switch it out wide on the right to Owain Gordon. Whatever he was thinking, it did not work out. We will leave it at that. So a little bit of a mistake there by Javon Watson. But there's an ongoing battle here on this right side of the Real Monarchs attack, the left side of the OKC defense between Mikael Williams and Josh Hurd. And they're seeing something when Williams has the ball, because every time Williams gets the ball, they are pressing him intensely. And remember, he had the elbow at Hurd a few minutes earlier. So let's see how that duel progresses.
An opportunity for OKC. They have numbers. Gordon on the right flank. He's doubled. Gets out of it nicely. Gets his cross in. Extra pass. Beautiful football, and an opportunity missed. Rafa Garcia was about a foot from goal.
What a great cutback, first of all, by Gordon. By cutting back, he had two defenders on him, and so that allowed the space for Ross to go through. Great ball from Garcia to Ross. Ross timing his run very well to stay onside. That was the key after the touch by Garcia. And then you can see Garcia leaning back. And when he leans back, that ball sails on him. If he leans into it, he keeps the shot down and then forces Putna to make a save. Or he scores a goal, preferably if you're an OKC fan. But still, great work down that right side between Gordon, Garcia, and Callum Ross.
So we're a third of the way through this one, and we're scoreless. That might have been the best chance for OKC so far. And you'd think, especially with Putna out there, the newest goalkeeper for this Monarchs squad, you want to test the keeper in that situation. At the very least, put it on target.
Well, 10 minutes earlier, there was a nice, well-worked combination between Gordon and Alvin Jones and Garcia. That was a foul, that if there wasn't a foul call, it would have been in the space. That could have led to a goal-scoring chance.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Any third of the way changes that you think either of these teams need to make now that we've settled into this game?
Well, in terms of OKC, they probably have to continue to play down that right side. They've looked the most dangerous down that right side with Gordon, Callum Ross, Rafael Garcia. I mentioned how Alvin Jones had a nice little link up with him down that right side about 10 minutes earlier with Gordon. So they might have something going there. If they can continue to exploit that down that right side with Gordon kind of pulling the strings, and then Garcia and Callum Ross in the midfield linking up, that could lead to a good goal-scoring opportunity for OKC.
Chang with a give-and-go opportunity. Hurd along the right side again. Sent away but kept in, and Avila's shot was deflected. Forced Lorendi to do something with it.
Yeah. Well done by Lorendi to keep it in so that his team can maintain possession.
Gordon gets free. Gordon, low cross. And there you see our first real look at Joseph Okumu, who gets it away. Garcia has two defenders on him, one Monarch, one referee, and he'll also get a yellow for his efforts. He was up near the facial area of Ricardo Avila.
Garcia, he's that pit bull in the midfield here.
Just
see that
one
arm.
too many elbows.
Yeah, the arm is high as well. What he's trying to do is trying to get a feel for where Avila is so that he can use his body to maintain the possession. So he's using his arms to get a feel. The problem is he's swinging them a little too wildly there. And Avila, who's trying to get low and trying to win the ball, gets his head there at that same level, and then Garcia takes him down with that left arm. So it deserved yellow card.
That's the 4th yellow card for Garcia this season. One more, he'll be suspended for a match as Chang had an opportunity, couldn't grab it cleanly. And it's parried away. Pushed on nicely for Gordon, and a whistle will bring it back. Gordon had a chance to run.
Offside there is the call. That one is close because it looks like Okumu is keeping Gordon onside. We have to take a look at it. But it's a good flick on touch there. Good header, I believe, by Brown. You see Real Monarchs, when they're on the attack, when they have the possession, those defenders, those center backs, Pliwa and Okumu, pushing up high. That's giving them a lot of space, leaving a lot of space in the back. And Brown with that header on to Gordon. That was very close. It looked like Okumu was keeping him onside.
Steve Cook, OKC's manager, not pleased. In a game that's been as tense as this, you'll rarely see a smile on the manager's face.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not too happy with the way Energy have come out, OKC have come out, and just haven't been able to consistently build the attack. That's been a big problem. 4 or 5 passes and they lose the ball. Deshaun Brown has had a couple of shots, but nothing really dangerous to test Andrew Putnam in goal. So I'm sure he's just frustrated with the fluidity and the cohesion of the attack.
Nice work by Chang. He earns the foul after doing a tap dance with the ball. Let's see where that foul came, because again, most of these that we've seen have come around the facial area, and there's yet another yellow. This one's going to be on Watson, so he goes into the book.
I think what happened for Watson, it wasn't the foul that got him the yellow, although maybe that left hand coming up high to the face, maybe, but
it's a forearm shiver.
Yeah, but I think it's more than anything talking a little too much yin-yang to the referee. I think that's what it really is. But that's the 3rd time we've seen an Energy player with a forearm or arm to the face. We saw Mikael Williams avoid a yellow card when he did it to Hurd. Garcia got in the book, and now Watson gets into the book for similar contact, if you will.
It's Powder to take it. He'll whip it in. A chance and a goal! But an offside called. The flag was up, and so we stay 0-0.
And Lorendi is bailed out by the offside call here because he gets off of his line late.
And we're going quickly the other way. Didn't even give us a chance to look at it, but boy, you're right. Lorendi bailed out, and now a foul will send it back to OKC. Let's take a look. How close was it?
Yep. Schmidt that got the header onto it. You see Lorendi is late coming off of his line and then takes a poor angle toward the ball. And Schmidt actually gets inside him and gets the header on frame. But luckily for OKC, he was offside. But Lorendi, usually a very sound, fundamentally strong goalkeeper, makes a mistake there, and the flag bails him out.
Williams boots it ahead. Brown trying to get involved. He just has not been able to get his feet on the ball.
Well, right now he's not getting the service. They aren't consistently building the ball through the midfield, getting Ross touches through the midfield. Garcia, Watson with more touches in more advanced positions. 3 or 4 passes, they lose the ball. 3 or 4 passes, they get impatient, and Williams tries to boot it up the pitch to connect with Brown. They have to just be a little more patient. Real Monarchs, yeah, they're putting pressure on the midfield, but good passing and movement into space will beat that pressure every single time. See Portillo high up, space behind them if they just quick passes and run into that space.
Looking for Gordon over the top. They found him. Brown let it slip by him. And it rolls along the end line for a goal kick.
Wow, that was very close. Good ball over the top down that right side for Gordon. Made a great touch that squared into Brown. I think Brown was trying to settle it just a little bit so he could turn. Couldn't get a touch onto it. Maybe just ran in a little too deep and couldn't get enough of a touch onto it to slow it down enough so he could turn, and just whizzed right by him. But how about Gordon? Again, another fantastic service into the area from that right side.
Here he is again. Gordon hounded by Powder. Cross deflected. Noah Powder and that left side defense. That time it was Okumu all over the place.
And they needed to collapse on him as Alvin Jones down that right side recovers the ball and then burst into space, trying to square it in. Well done by the right back Alvin Jones to win a corner kick for Oklahoma City.
5 minutes before half, second corner for OKC. Ibiaga got his head to it.
Elevates over Michael Chang. Just couldn't keep the header down, but that's what you want your big center backs to do in those set piece situations. Get in the air, win the headers, send it on frame. It's over the top of Michael Chang. Michael Chang elevating, but also backwards as well. Went into Ibiaga. Maybe that did enough to put Ibiaga off where he couldn't keep his header down. Prevented a goal, or at least a shot on target.
Fans, you can follow the OKC Energy and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
I'm still mad Rose Namajunas lost. I liked her. She was cool. Doug Rose.
Who?
Doug Rose. Rose Namajunas, UFC. The women's strawweight champion. She got slammed by Jessica Andrade. I thought that would.
Didn't you
I
have
like
a
Rose.
finishing move?
Huh? Yeah. It was called.
It's the spin kick, right?
Spin kick? No. My finishing move is when dinner is on table. I finish on my plate.
Come on.
I was good in wrestling on video games, but not in real life in anything.
Powder with a big head. Garcia bumped. Kept nicely.
Portillo did an excellent job there because Gordon had a good touch through to Alvin Jones, and Portillo did very well to keep from Alvin Jones from winning the ball. Got his body between Jones and the ball, and eventually won the possession back for Real Monarchs. Portillo in that holding midfield role defensively. He's got the number 43. He's putting in some strong, hard work defensively. And he's been a big reason why Oklahoma City haven't been able to generate much attack through the middle of the pitch.
Omar Gordon is shaken up. He took a shot. Montego Bay native who means so much to this team, and he's meant so much to the attack today. You've talked about it down the right side. If he can get the ball in space, it's off to the races.
Absolutely. He's been the best attacking player for Oklahoma City in this first half. Down that right side with his touches, his ability to run into space, but also the passing and his vision to play players into space. So if he can't continue, that's a big blow for Oklahoma City because he's been their best attacking player in this first half.
Week 4 Team of the Week award winner, scored a goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time, added an assist in the 3-3 comeback draw against Reno 1868. He's second on this team behind Deshaun Brown. He's got 3 goals in 10 games. Nobody's taken more shots than Gordon. And it looks like he's all right. A minute to go plus stoppage time in this first half. We're still scoreless.
A little more patience there, OKC. Garcia playing it back to Mikhail Williams. And they're just trying to get Deshaun Brown the ball so quickly, but long balls like that, and then he's surrounded by 2 or 3 defenders, it's going to be hard for him to generate anything in those type of situations.
Brody lets it roll by for a goal kick. Well, the beginning of this match, we talked about the back line and the new goalkeeper for Monarchs, and with all of these long balls, you think Energy might be trying to put that to the test, and so far Monarchs have answered the test.
Absolutely, they've done a very good job of reading where these long balls are coming from, and then with Deshaun Brown really the only one in the air trying to win the balls, they have been able to snuff it out. It's been when down the right side, when they keep the ball on the ground with Gordon, when OKC's attack has been the most effective and most dangerous.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up on our halftime report, we'll provide you with news and notes from this one around the USL, and also take a look at OKC's Open Cup win against Rayados earlier in the week, and who they've got coming up in their next Open Cup matchup. Not an easy one. We'll head into the second half of this one, 45 minutes and change to play with no score on the board. Greg Dopka blows his whistle, and indeed, zeros at the half here at Taft Stadium. OKC and Monarchs have both had their opportunities. Neither one could capitalize. One ball even heading into the back of the net, but the flag was up. We'll recap the first half when we return here on ESPN+.
The mission of the Central Oklahoma Humane Society is to stop euthanasia of healthy adoptable animals in Oklahoma City. For us, it's all about connections. We connect between adopters and fosters, we connect internally, and we connect with our donors and our community. Cox Business helps us make those connections. Our organization has Cox Business high-speed internet and the IP-Centrix managed phone system. It really has made a difference. They're always reliable.
Goals are something we outline for ourselves, and oftentimes they can be pretty lofty. When things begin to line up the way we think they should, we appreciate those who helped us along the way, like the help you get with commercial banking from FFB. Our experts are ready to partner with you to help you manage cash flow, oversee accounts through online banking, and help you secure a business line of credit. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
Mercy helps the Energy get to the top of their game. We can help you get to the top of yours.
Halftime at Taft Stadium, OKC Energy and Real Monarchs SLC. Scoreless at the half. And for Oklahoma City, this is match number 2 on the week. They played over the week in their U.S. Open Cup match, a second-round matchup against NTX Rayados of the North Texas Premier Soccer Association, and, well, they did their thing with a 3-1 win.
And there's the strike. Finally, one goes in for OKC Energy. Isley, a powerful strike. And the Orlando, Florida native puts up OKC Energy. And through the arms of Frias from here as he'll see his first goal in an Energy uniform. OKC, a sigh of relief, will be hosting Tampa Bay Rowdies in an all-USL Championship battle coming up in 2 weeks.
Well, a bit of a tougher test coming up in their next Open Cup match. That's a Tuesday and another Tuesday from now, May 28th. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, the only undefeated team remaining in USL competition.
And when you look at the numbers, it's the defense that has them undefeated. Only 4 goals conceded in 10 matches, 6 clean sheets. This Oklahoma City attack is going to have to play its best game of the season so far in order to break down the best defense in the league. It is going to be very difficult, but they will be at Taft Stadium. They will be at home, I should say, on Oklahoma soil, so that could help them out. But, man, going up against that Tampa Bay Rowdies team is going to be tough.
Well, first, Tampa Bay, they've got to take care of another piece of business today. But when we come back, we'll take a look at some news and notes around the USL, along with our upcoming USL schedule right here on ESPN+.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? It's 1-0 in the 12th minute. What can you say about a center back who has...
It's loud, and what a rip from Connor Presley. Oh, how's that for an equalizer?
And he decided just to reach his leg out there and see what he could do.
Now North Carolina with a chance. Now a shot by Miller! Stephen Miller with the strike inside the 18, ties this game up at 1 in the 66th minute. Fleming's early ball in. John on the first time! Oh, that is clinical from Adam John! Oh, look at Flemings and Picaro just toying with RGV. Here. Breaking in, Kasim! Oh, what a save by Matt Pickens! Got a run from distance, and it's a goal! Pulls with the left and in. And what a save for Van Ogle! Here's a chance for Kasim, and puts it
Rodriguez returning for Reynolds. His delivery through the penalty area will fall here, and Tessman! What a strike that is from Tanner Tessman, who's equalized for North Texas.
Sweet footwork. Gallardo, the attack and the blast, and a goal!
One more go at it for Toronto. Headed on and in. Beautiful strike there.
Shalani serves it towards the back post. Headed in the back of the net. It's a goal for Lansing Ignite.
Halftime here at Taft Stadium, and the halftime brought to you by Mercy. And for our news and notes around the USL here on this Week 11 I told you the Rowdies have a matchup that they need to consider before they get to the U.S. Open Cup. It's the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. That's coming up later tonight, right here on ESPN Plus. You can catch it, George. And then, how about the USL Championship teams in the Cup? 19 clubs advancing, and actually a couple of them losing too. Only 2 of them, but Forward Madison out of USL League One. They were able to grab a big 3-0 win over Rio Grande Valley. And then we've got our Wednesday night matchup on ESPN News. It's Nashville and the expansion side, Birmingham Legion. That's going to be a good one. Let's take a look at our team of the week from week 10. George, who stands out to you?
Well, obviously the player of the week, Adam John, for his 2 goals for Phoenix Rising. But we mentioned Tampa Bay and that defense. How about Pop Diakite in the center of that 3-4-3 in the USL Team of the Week? He was very important for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and he will be someone that Oklahoma City will have to worry about in that U.S. Open Cup. And obviously New York Red Bulls, too, will have to worry about him as well in the center of the defense for Tampa Bay. So those 2 stand out. 1 in attack, 1 in defense.
Yeah, right there in the middle. And then for our upcoming USL matchups tomorrow, we've got 3 more games, so plenty of action to be had. You mentioned Jimmy Nielsen, the former OKC coach. He's now doing his thing with Hartford. They're looking for their first league win, but they got their first franchise win ever. That was earlier in the week in the Open Cup.
And Jimmy Nielsen is someone who is no stranger to the U.S. Open Cup. He actually won it as a player when he was the goalkeeper with Sporting KC. So he knows how to do it, and he was the manager when OKC made that deep run in the U.S. Open Cup. So he has a knack for making deep runs and winning big games in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
All right, second half not too far away. Somebody is going to break through in the second half. It's just a matter of who. We'll have that for you when we return.
Outlining your own destiny is something we all take pride in. And knowing we're doing what we love is what makes this life adventure so exciting. Isn't it nice to have a banking partner that's along for the ride? FFB makes life easier with a simple click and snap, so things like mobile banking and deposits can be done anywhere, anytime. Plus free bill pay, person-to-person transfers, and Apple Pay. With free ATMs worldwide, why wouldn't you want a bank that gives you this much freedom? FFB. We go where you go.
Mercy helps the energy get to the top of their game. We can help you get to the top of yours.
Success is achieved through hard work, and many business owners work tirelessly for years to realize the dream of franchising their business. FFB partners with companies of all sizes every day and offers an extensive variety of treasury services. FFB will outline a plan just for you, help you streamline cash flow, and monitor your business transactions. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
Ready for the start of the second half. Let's take a look at some of those first half highlights that we saw here today. A lot of chances for both sides. Not many chances that hit the target. OKC did have one.
Yep.
What did you notice? That was Deshaun Brown's best chance.
Yeah, Deshaun Brown, just not much service for their leading goal scorer so far in this match in that first half. It was disappointing for him. They just couldn't get enough passes going forward and hold up the ball enough. And then Real Monarchs out wide, especially with Josh Hurd. He was very dangerous down that right side, and Tate Schmidt almost getting that one tricky. And then it was Gordon down the right side of the OKC attack who was dangerous. Look at how he cuts back a couple of defenders, lays it off beautifully for Garcia, back to Ross, back to Garcia. That was the best chance they had at opening the scoring in this matchup. But Gordon, beautiful footwork, to get it to Garcia, and then Ross with a well-timed run, and then squared it back to Garcia. And this is a little bit of controversy here because of the offside.
Well, Schmidt was called offside, and he's had the best opportunities to score, and you can see he was beyond that back line when that ball went into the air. So no goal, although the ball did hit the back of the net, maybe an encouraging sign. You see only one shot on target for both sides, and the possession halfway through. These halftime stats brought to you by Mercy. At Mercy, your life is our life's work. Learn more at mercy.net/energy sports. The possession started at about 60-40 Monarchs halfway through the first half, and then it flipped out of nowhere.
Yeah, because OKC Energy, they needed to have the ball here to slow down Real Monarchs, because Real Monarchs was playing very quickly, were playing very quickly in that first half. They were attacking the spaces, and they were putting pressure on that back line, specifically Mikal Williams at the left back position for OKC Energy. So they needed to get a little more possession themselves, and they managed to flip it in their favor. But the problem is they're still being outshot, and they only have one shot on target, and that offside goal is a little tricky, is a little controversial there. So it's possession with purpose. That's the most important thing. Having 58% of the ball is great, but you can't have just one shot on target.
Well, you're the one who's calling it controversial. You're pushing the envelope a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't know.
It was close.
We got a decent look.
It was close, yeah. It was close. From that angle, it looked close there. And I think Cody Lorendi got bailed out a little bit. And when he looks back at the tape, I'm sure he'll say, ooh, that was not good the way I came off the line like that with the timing and the angle. So it worked out well for Oklahoma City. Now with all that possession, what they have to do, they have to be more patient, get more than 4 or 5, string together 5 or 6 passes, get Garcia and Callum Ross more involved in the midfield, especially in the middle of the park.
That's George Metellus. He's alongside Spencer Siegel. Happy to be with you tonight, wherever you are, however you may be watching. What's up?
That's a pretty sweet polo, OKC Energy polo. I'm going to have to get one of those. None of my friends will have one, so I have to get one. That'd be cool.
All 4 of OKC's shots have come inside the box. Only one of them so far, though, has tested the newest goalkeeper for Monarchs. That's Andrew Putna, who does have plenty of MLS experience and is making his Monarchs debut in 2019 with David Ochoa, who's been the anchor at the back for Monarchs. He's headed to the Under-20 World Cup in Poland, which starts later this week, on Thursday actually. OKC in the white and Monarchs in the black. OKC will head to our right, and they'll try to go down the right flank at the start of the second half, just the way Monarchs did to start the game. Working it around the back, Atiba Harris will push it out wide for Mikal Williams. Now back for Christian Ibiaga.
Now what we've seen here, what we saw in the first half, saw Oklahoma City, when Mikal Williams got the ball at his left back position, they put pressure on him instantly. And it worked a little bit just now. They gave the ball away. So let's see if they continue that here in this second half. And Oklahoma City, when they got the ball to Owain Gordon on the right side with Alvin Jones wearing 61, they looked very dangerous. So they might want to try that again, continue that strategy here in this second half.
Lights have taken effect into twilight here in OKC. Javon Watson playing more of a central defending role to start the second half. Alvin Jones along the right side. This is Rafa Garcia. Now Watson up for Williams. Garcia looking for some space. Back for Watson, and so far good control from OKC.
Yeah, much better. Garcia ran into the space that Cato left open by dropping back a little bit deeper. Now more patience in building the attack. And as I say that,
Gordon runs it down.
And as I say that, Callum Ross tried to go over the top to Deshaun Brown but much better from OKC. They don't need to rush it. Just good, solid passes. Keep it short. Maintain the possession. Get players running into space.
And Garcia thought he had somebody running with him. Worth re-mentioning that the all-time series between these two teams is 4-3 in favor of Oklahoma City. Both teams have won every home game that they've played in this tie-up. OKC 3-1 at home this season, while the Monarchs have yet to grab 3 points on the road. They do have a draw. And they're coming off of their first home loss of the season. Portillo. Back and now along the left side, this is DeLentz. Noah Powder.
Yep, DeLentz and Powder are switching. When Powder pushes forward, DeLentz drops back into the left back position.
Randy comes out to play his position. Long ball ahead looking for Gordon.
I have to say, in the first half, it was DeLentz as the left winger and then Powder the left back. Now they flip-flop, and Powder is pushing up higher, and DeLentz is the left back now. So trying to add a little more attacking spice to the Real Monarchs lineup formation. And trying to keep it simple with that 4-4-2 with Chang and Schmidt up top. And then Hurd, Portillo, Powder, and Schmidt in the midfield. Or excuse me, Avila in the midfield, I should say.
Watson plays it back for Harris. And a very controlled start, as you said, for OKC. There's a lot of room in that midfield past the top two. Cato keeps it alive. DeLentz has to deal with it. Plenty of space.
Yeah. Now it's just a matter of committing the numbers forward. Ross is still back. Watson is back. They need to commit those numbers forward. Try to get some one-on-one matchups, draw out some of the defenders to really exploit that space. Not happening for OKC right now.
Yeah, and to that point, the Monarchs defenders and midfielders are staying a little bit further back.
Yeah, they're going to sit back. If OKC wants the possession, Real Monarchs will give them the possession.
Long ball into the corner, and it's tracked down and ultimately won by the Monarchs.
Yeah, with what they'll do, Real Monarchs, when they don't have the ball and they see that OKC is being methodical with the way they're moving the ball, passing the ball, they'll sit back and wait and then try to maybe catch them on a surprise counterattack. So Real Monarchs want the ball, but they are not going to be disappointed if OKC knock the ball around side to side with the defenders getting most of the touches. Maybe create a turnover and then with some high pressing and then break on the counterattack quickly. That could be the case. So Callum Ross dropping very deep to try to hold the possession, win the ball, and be that connector between the midfield, the back line and the midfield.
Along the far side, you see for the first time Andrew Putna comes out to take care of his box. He's played a conservative but so far well-played goalkeeper.
Yeah, he hasn't been tested that much, but on the rare occasion that he's needed to, well, he hasn't had to make a save, but when he's had to come off of his line and play the ball and kind of command the penalty box, he's done a sufficient job, an excellent job of that. So far Putna hasn't been put to the fire yet by Energy FC, by OKC, but there will be a moment where he'll have to come up and make a big save.
Garcia wins it and keeps it with the energy. You're talking to Steve Cook this week. I asked, well, what does this OKC team see their identity as? And he says he's not as much concerned about the characteristics of having an identity. He wants the players to commit to the principle of the play. For this game, he said the transition game is critical, and we saw a little bit of that in the first half, but a lot less of it here so far in the second half, playing more of a possession game.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to play the transition game when after 3 passes you give the ball up. That's been the big problem, and that's why I think he's told his team, okay, calm down, relax, we'll play more of the possession game here, and it's worked out well. They've had more of the possession. They're capable of passing the ball and holding the ball for more than 6-7 passes and getting movement off the ball into space. Now Gordon getting more involved here. So that's a good tactical change there by Steve Cook.
Powder heads it down, and then it was bumped wide, and now Monarchs might have their first opportunity.
And you can see when Gordon has the ball, everything is faster. It's faster, it's more direct.
The Monarchs haven't been able to hold on to the ball. Here's Garcia getting into space, and it's taken away. Here comes the counterattack opportunity. This is Okumu. He lays it off Chang. Michael Chang with plenty of space. OKC gets back into their defensive transition. All inside the box, dealt with by Jones.
Okumu had a great opportunity when he intercepted that pass and then burst forward. If he just looked slightly to his left, he had Michael Chang in a little bit of space. It would have allowed Chang to run at that defense, and then Schmidt was floating out wide on the left. The central defenders, they aren't known for leading the break, leading those counterattacks in transition. But it's still a good play by Okumu to intercept that pass, a sloppy pass by Rafael Garcia.
Fourth start of the season for Joseph Okumu. He's also come on as a sub a couple of times. Here come Monarchs. Played back. Avila. Powder back to Avila. Here's Ricardo Avila. Chang holds it up well. Haven't called much of Josh Hurd's name. He plummets up the right side. Looking to get the cross in. It's in. Powder gets his head to it, and it's just wide.
Very close here for Real Monarchs. And the defenders in the area for OKC Energy, they have to attack the ball. First of all, well done down that right side between Brody and Hurd with the service in. But that ball is floating there. It wasn't a strong service, a clean service for Powder there. That ball bounces off the turf. The OKC defenders have to attack that ball and not allow Powder to get to his head onto it. He just out-hustled him to the ball there. We saw something similar. Well, not a header, but Tate Schmidt did something where he was able to get a touch onto it in the first half. So OKC, they have to be more aggressive and attack the ball when it's loose like that in the area.
Noah Powder starting to assert himself offensively a little bit more in this second half. We've seen a couple of times that turf can be tricky. When the ball takes that high of a bounce, especially as a defender, it seems like you're waiting for an eternity for it to come down so that you can play it.
But those two defenders that were in front of Noah Powder before that ball bounced, they have to attack it in the air and head it away cleanly. They didn't do that, and Noah Powder was able to just get inside and get that header on frame there.
16 starts last season for Orange County. He loses the ball here. Cato will play it back for Williams.
And you see that Gordon was bursting down that right side, and you see the play slowed down, got bogged down in the middle. And when he gets slowed down like that,
Cato bumps it ahead. It's won by Deshaun Brown. Haven't called his name in the second half, and his first touch is one that he'd like back.
Well, first of all, Deshaun Brown does an excellent job. Okumu, look at the angle Okumu takes here to win the ball. He's got to stay on the inside shoulder of Brown. He goes for the ball instead of kind of playing the position there. When you're the central defender, you cannot give up to a striker. You can't give up the ball or the space in the penalty area. He tries to go for the ball. Deshaun Brown does an excellent job of kind of subtly bodying him off the ball, blocking him away, and that allowed Brown to get that ball in. Now, the service should have been better from Brown, but still, Okumu, his fundamentals in terms of defending has to be better in that.
How about that one? He gets a second chance, and he wins it back for his side.
That's how you do it. But Deshaun Brown is starting to become a nuisance back there, really starting to bother this Real Monarchs defense. That's a good thing for OKC.
Gordon nearly got into it. It was left for Putna, and that skewed off the side of Jones's right foot. You'd think that if OKC continues to try and push the envelope with Gordon and Brown up top, that they'll be able to create more chances.
Absolutely. And what's happening now is, now that Real Monarchs is starting to get a little bit of possession, that back line is starting to creep up a little bit higher. And so Deshaun Brown, who's very good at staying on side and timing those runs, he's starting to find those little gaps and spaces in that back line. So if OKC can get the quick turnover and the good pass out there, Deshaun Brown has an opportunity to get into space, get one-on-one against those defenders, and really create good goal-scoring chances. So things starting to open up for OKC and attack a little bit.
This is Jones having trouble with it. Won back nicely by DeLentz. Gordon wins it back. Gordon into the box. Still Omar Gordon. And here come the Monarchs. They've got numbers. Errant pass intended for Michael Cheng.
First of all, Callum Ross with a great ball out wide to the right to Alvin Jones. And then Gordon just held the ball a little bit too long there. He was looking for that left-footed shot, but every angle was shut down by the Real Monarchs defense and eventually lost the ball. And then Avila tried to play it quickly up top for Michael Chang, but couldn't connect. This game's starting to open up a little bit. You're seeing both teams now being more aggressive, running into space, quickly circulating it to where they see those spaces are opening up. I have a feeling we might see a goal pretty soon here. It's just a matter of the right connection of passes and then the finishing.
As we hit the hour mark, you'd think that at some point both sides might look for a substitution to spark their side. Gordon nearly got in, and OKC will have a second chance. Cato is down.
Yeah, Avila got him pretty good in the back of the head right before he was trying to slide it through, I believe, to Alvin Jones down that right side.
Another look. Looking for that through ball. Just his momentum.
Yeah. That's what is the momentum carrying him forward. He wasn't expecting Cato to stop there.
We already saw a goal called back from this position in the first half. Rafa Garcia sends it in. And it's headed away awkwardly. I think that was Deshaun Brown that got inside.
Good service, though. Good ball curled in. And between the offside goal, the goal that was disallowed because of the offside, and that one, we've seen two very good services curled in from on this end of the pitch here at Taft Stadium.
Misplayed. Won by Schmidt. Keeps it under his feet, and Powder didn't continue the run.
Yep, that was the key right there. Powder has to keep going. Watson losing the ball And Schmidt had the right idea, although there might have been a little bit of a window there for him to take a right-footed shot, Schmidt, but with Powder so close to the penalty area, he's got to continue his run. Make the run. If you don't get the ball, you don't get the ball, but at least make the run. Give the defense something to worry about. Give the goalkeeper something to worry about. Maybe that would open up a shot for Schmidt, but good idea by Schmidt trying to get it filtered through to Powder.
Here's Schmidt again. They leaving it all out there. It's Omar Gordon's world in the midfield. He lost it this time. Andrew Brody with Gordon smothering him, gives it up.
Yeah, well, Gordon is coming in from the right side, and he's coming into the middle. When you come into the middle, now you put yourself in a position where you're being marked. You're running into 3 or 4 more extra people. While if you stay out wide, you beat your man one-on-one, and you're into some space, and then you can send in the cross. So Gordon, by cutting into the middle, is essentially he's running into a crowd, and that's tough to do. It's tough to create any goal-scoring chances when you go from running someone one-on-one to 1-on-3 or 1-on-4.
Garcia plays it along the right side. Jones once again. Jones will send it in. Far post, too far.
Now with Gordon, he's on the far left side. Cato coming into the right side, actually more toward the middle. So that's leaving a lot of space for Jones down that right side. That's why he was able to get onto the end of that ball there. Now for Oklahoma City, what they have to be careful of when Gordon pushes forward like that and he's switching sides and your right back is all the way up the pitch, quick turnover, and that leaves space in behind Jones that Real Monarchs can take advantage of.
Still scoreless. The pressure applied here by Monarchs, and Chang wins it back. Now a chance to set up in their own half. Brody whips it in. Schmidt was on the other end, and it was dealt with nicely by the OKC defense.
Yeah, and that was a situation there where Mikhail Williams lost the ball. Once again, they put pressure on Mikhail Williams, the left back of Energy FC, and he lost the ball. And Real Monarchs able to get an opportunity there. So Mikhail Williams, he has to get that ball away quicker because they are really coming down on him very quickly, very intensely, to dispossess him and win the ball deep in their attacking third.
Just the 5th corner of the game, the 3rd for Monarchs. Pushed inside, and that's easy for Lorendi. He's looking to go. Go they do. Given away poorly.
That was too heavy of a touch there by Brown.
Well, and sometimes when you don't get as much involved as Brown is normally used to, you tend to press.
Yep.
We've seen a little bit of it in this second half.
Yeah, definitely wants to score the goal. He feels that the space is open. When those strikers know that the spaces are available, that's when they get maybe a little more anxious, a little more antsy, if you will. And that was the case there. Deshaun Brown had that space there, and that touch was a little too heavy on the counter. And that's how he lost the ball there. But he knows, Deshaun Brown knows that those spaces are available for him to run at the defense and get a good counterattack or a good goal-scoring chance.
OKC entered play today in the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Remember, 10 making the playoffs this year, but you'd really like to be inside the top 6 so that you don't have to play that opening round play-in matchup. 15 points, though, is only 6 back of first place New Mexico. As for Monarchs, they're certainly not out of it yet, but there are a lot of teams who are clumped up in, say, that 3 through 16. There's only 4 points that separate 3 through 16 in the Western Conference.
Very early on, very evenly balanced Western Conference.
And with The expansion in 2019, does that surprise you, or is that something that you were expecting?
I think it's to be expected. I think it's to be expected with all these expansion teams. You're going to have teams that they get off to good starts. Some teams lost players to these expansion teams, so they have to adjust a little bit. And so many teams now in both conferences. The USL has always been very evenly distributed in terms of talent and the parity, so it's not a surprise.
Powder working quickly, leaves it ahead for Chang. Check that, Avila. And he was the one that touched it last. Goal kick.
And what's happened now is Omar Gordon has moved out wide to the left. Cato more of a right central position, and Jones has that freedom down the right side.
Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the OKC Energy or Real Monarchs, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on both teams' next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click and follow your club.
And Cato and Owain Gordon have basically Omar Gordon have switched sides.
Foul won by the Monarchs. It was Hurd who got in on it, and he was just clipped by Javon Watson, and Watson has to be careful. He's on a yellow.
Yeah, but I think Hurd sold that one a little bit there. Hurd gets a touch on it, jumps up. There's very little contact there by Javon Watson. Hurd, he sells that one really well.
Schmidt keeps it alive. This is Tate Schmidt.
Oh.
Now Powder. Looking for DeLentz. He'll get it in. Headed clear. Monarchs pressing.
You see, between DeLentz and Powder on the left side, that was the only movement there on that possession.
And Avila lost his footing.
There was a chance when Schmidt was cutting back into his right. He had Andrew Brody wide open on that far right side. Brody was hands waving like he was trying to hail a cab or bring down a plane or something. Talk about trying to catch the attention of the pilot. I mean, he had his hands waving crazy, and they couldn't switch it to him on the other side. And that might have been a lost opportunity there for Real Monarchs. Very little movement off the ball for Real Monarchs on that last sequence.
Well, haven't you always wanted to be the guy who brings in the planes with those big orange sticks? That's a dream job.
Is it?
Oh. For some.
For some? I want to be the pilot. That's the fun part right there.
I'll let you be the pilot, and I'll take the other plane.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have my license, so that's probably a good idea. Yeah.
20 minutes to play here on what's been an entertaining but so far scoreless Saturday night in Oklahoma City. But perhaps a change in that. The little chip, and OKC's on the board. Cordell Cato.
This is a brilliant ball over the top by Owain Omar Gordon. He drops back deep in the midfield and lays it off perfectly over the top for Cato. Gets him behind the defense with his quickness and speed, and look at the delicate touch over Andrew Putna for the opening goal. They switched sides. Cato was on the left, Gordon was on the right. They've switched. Gordon went to the left, Cato went to the right, and he timed his run perfectly, and it's a great ball over the top by Gordon. A perfect switch, and the opening goal for OKC.
In a game that's seen so much power and physicality, it's the delicacy of a chip that perhaps might make the difference. 71 minutes in, OKC 1, Real Monarchs 0. Leonis shifts to the Monarchs to try and win this back, and they'll have to push.
That was just brilliant by Owen Gordon, what he did. Just dropping back into the midfield deep, getting the ball, and then Cato timing his run, and it was a diagonal run. He was starting down the right side, right central channel, and then floated over a little bit more into the middle toward the left, and then long ball over the top.
Ball whipped inside, it stays alive. Chang will play it out wide. Hurd, and it's pumped away by Ibiaga. Well, OKC striking first here at home, and you take a look at that stat. Generally, good things happen, and even more so when it happens this late.
Oh, that is encouraging sign, to say the least, for OKC.
Well, now here they go. They might be away again. It's Cato playing it up top. Brown trying to keep it alive. It nearly falls for Ross. Garcia bumps it ahead for Gordon. Now back to Garcia. He whips it inside, low ball, and the flag, I believe, was up.
It looked like Okumu able to get to it before Callum Ross timed his run there. But now that Real Monarchs are going to have to push men forward, that's going to leave more space in the back.
The ball had just trickled out of bounds, so it stays with OKC, and it's Omar Gordon. Difficult ball inside, or outside rather, one back by Monarchs. Pushed away, Ibiaga deals with it by heading it out of bounds. 15 minutes and change left in this one. Monarchs need a goal to avoid losing their second straight in as many weeks.
If this scoreline holds up, it'll be 4 straight losses on the road this season. That is not a formula that will get you into the playoffs.
And I beg your pardon, it would be their 3rd straight going back to the loss in Austin. They have not yet had much success down in the southern central portion of this country. Brody along the right side, Hurd. Hurd pushes past a defender, and that's a goal kick.
Good defending there down that left side. Mikhail Williams backed up by Rafa Garcia.
Meanwhile, coming off of what was a difficult loss last week, OKC, who also lost to Austin, are now on the brink of perhaps their 3rd win in 5 tries, and the live table would push them to 3rd in the Western Conference. That's how close everything is when the 3 through 16 teams are separated by 4 points.
And hopefully, when we get to week 20, 22, 25, it'll still be tight like that, so we can have an exciting end to the regular season and figure out which teams make the playoffs. I always want that playoff drama till the very end.
This time it's Brody on the overlapping run. Nice ball to get into the box. He's got options. He takes it on with his left foot himself, and he misses wide, so an opportunity goes by the wayside once again.
Well, good job by Brody there just to cut inside Williams, and then another opportunity. That last little cut right there, trying to get it onto his left foot.
Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. At what point do you start thinking about a substitution?
Well, usually 60th minute, 75th minute, so pretty soon, pretty soon. I never understood why, other than wasting time, I never understood why managers make substitutions in the 85th, anything later than the 80th minute. If you want to bring in a substitution, especially if you're, in this case, Real Monarchs, you have to do it within the next 2 or 3 minutes, and it looks like that's what Martin Vasquez is preparing. Down a goal, you got to give these players that come off the bench at least 10 minutes to get into the game, to get warmed up, to get involved tactically into the game and have it happen in real time on the pitch.
Schmidt tries to settle it. He's in between two defenders. He gets his head to the ball. It stays down for Monarchs. Hurd lays it off. Ball loose in the box, and it's batted away. Best chance in the second half for Monarchs.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is some scary defending, or scared defending from OKC here. They're more worried about not committing the penalty than attacking the ball. And they almost gave up a goal. They can't worry about it. If you're the defender, you have to be smart about it, obviously. You just can't let Real Monarchs get these touches in the area that deep when you have enough defenders there to clear it away.
Pablo Ruiz getting ready to check in, along with what looks like Masta Kacher, both of whom getting their words of advice from the head man, Martin Vasquez. We might see a double substitution shortly. OKC just happy to sit on this 1-0 lead.
Yeah, the best way for OKC to hold on for the victory would be to keep the ball, hold the possession, and then get a second goal. Never want to sit on a 1-0 lead. You want to increase it, get another goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, so they can continue to be aggressive in attack.
Powder does well to win it back. Long ball up ahead, and boy, if Harris doesn't deal with that, that could have been a problem.
Yep.
Ball heads out of bounds, and it appears here we'll have our substitution. Pierre Delence will come off. Bring in Kacher. Pablo Ruiz will also come in. It's Ruiz for Hurd.
Yep.
Ten minutes plus stoppage time remain in this one. Here's Ruiz, the new man in. Avila will try on his left.
So now with the substitutions, we're going to see Noah Powder go back to his left back position.
Here he is, Powder. The new man, Kacher.
Kacher is going to be the left winger now.
Well placed inside for Ruiz, who keeps it going. Ruiz looking for options, and again, Powder just stopped running.
Powder has to be bursting forward into that space. That's the second time in this second half. He had an opportunity to continue his run. Ruiz did an excellent job of recognizing where he was, and he didn't make the run. That's got to be frustrating for Martin Vasquez. But with the 2 substitutions, we've seen Kacher now. He's the left winger in the 4-4-2. And it looks like Michael Chang has floated out wide to the right, and that means Ruiz is in the middle.
Miscommunication this time. It forces more issues for Monarchs, who are now on their heels with about 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was an important intervention there by Conrad Plewa. Plewa doesn't get that foot out. Cordell Cato goes right past him, and then he had a chance to go one-on-one with him and Andrew Putna.
Chang tripped up.
quiet match from Michael Chang, team's leading goal scorer and the man that generates most of the attack for Real Monarchs. And shut down pretty effectively in the middle by just the organization of OKC's defense.
Chair weaves out of trouble. Powder puts it inside, nobody in the box. Brody tries to track it down, he does so well. Trying from distance, Lorendi had to be on the spot, and he was.
Yeah, well done by Lorendi. Goalkeepers usually, if they can see the shot, they can see where it's coming from, they can get themselves in a position to make a comfortable save. Well done by Ruiz to send that one forward. First shot on target for Pablo Ruiz coming on, so well done, but good fundamental goalkeeping by Cody Lorendi.
Well, we talked about how tricky that turf can be, especially when you get a skipping ball like that. You've got to be ready for it to almost come at you faster than the pace that it had on it originally.
Well, one thing's for sure, Lorendi knows the bounces and how this pitch can affect the ball in those situations, so he read it very well.
That was the first shot on target for Monarchs in this game. And they still have life with 7 minutes to play. Whipped inside. And that time it was Ibiaga who sends it away just over the top of the crossbar corner kick.
Now that Michael Chang is out wide on the right, they're going to be a little more dangerous, although it's Brody that sends in the service, but Michael Chang out there certainly is going to catch the defense, the attention of the defense of OKC, but well done by Chang to pinch in a little bit, give Brody that space on the right side to make that run, and then send in the cross.
Ruiz swings it in, back post. Lorendi taps it out. Was it touched before it went over the line? Yes, another corner.
That's actually a well-designed set piece there by Real Monarchs. Okumu comes flashing wide open far post. Look what he does, the movement. Look at, he's wide open. He shakes off his defender there. That's Mikael Williams. He does well just to get it on frame.
Ruiz from distance, and that one sailed over the crossbar. We'll have another substitution. This time it'll be for more of a defensive purpose, as Damian Herman comes into the game. Herman making his third appearance, has only played in 16 minutes so far this season, both times as a substitute.
So Avila, who's a central midfielder. Herman coming on, so it's like for like.
Brown nearly got free, headed clear by Putna. Still time for Monarchs. Herman can't get to it.
I have to make a correction here. I mentioned like for like. Avila, more of a central midfielder. Herman is going to play a little bit higher out wide on the right, it looks like. Or at least a little bit higher up the pitch compared to Avila, who was a little bit deeper. Obviously trying to get more bodies forward to help out in the attack, try to get this equalizer.
And as long as we're making corrections, I said defensive purpose. Obviously, Monarchs don't need defense right now. They need a goal. They'll have the opportunity to do so. Martin Vasquez urging his side on. Schmidt wasn't ready for it. Jones boots it clear. Gordon nearly found Brown. Taken care of by Akomo.
And right here, Monarchs, they got to get something moving up the pitch here. They cannot. Oklahoma City try to put a little bit of a press on them. Played the ball backwards.
Too deep for Chang. Mentioned that this is the second of 5 consecutive games at home for OKC. They had the cup match that they won, the US Open Cup. We're about to get a substitute for OKC. Kyle Highland will come in for Omar Gordon, and that is your defensive substitution.
Absolutely.
After this Monarchs matchup, they stay at home next week. The Colorado Springs Switchbacks come to town. And then it's the US Open Cup matchup against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, the best team in the East, or one of the 2 best teams. We'll see after tonight when they take on the other top team in the East, the Red Bulls too. Gordon gets a nice hand from the home crowd. He really was active in the attacking third. Then they finish up with a tough matchup against Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2.
You have to win every single one of those games. When you're at home, you have to defend your turf by winning. So it'll be crucial that they pick up 3 points. And now with Highland in the game, at left back by trade, a natural position, left back.
Chang tied up, tripped up. OKC got to the ball, and they get it clear. Not fully clear.
Very smart tactical substitution by Steve Cook.
The chair nearly overruns it. Looking for something on goal. Kept alive and pushed away. Monarchs pressing in the final minute. We'll have stoppage time as well.
Kyle Highland, essentially it'll be a back line of 5 now. Well, Highland at that left back position. They realized that Chang and Herman and Brody down that right side were making headway, looking dangerous. So you bring in a left back, you take out Gordon, who was an attacking player playing higher. Highland a little bit more defensive minded, try to lock down that part of the pitch.
Nicely settled by Ruiz. Chang looking to get it on his left. He'll send it wide. Kacher inside to the box. Chang! And it's saved by Lorendi.
Great save by Lorendi. Excellent service as well as Chang. Couldn't get full power on it. When you see the replay, he's leaning away from goal. Great ball by Kacher. You see he's leaning away from goal, so he can't get the full power onto it. And Lorendi, such a good goalkeeper. He needed a little more than that to beat him.
Only 2 minutes of stoppage time. Got to go quick, and it doesn't get any easier for Monarchs after this game. Yeah, they go home, but they've got the reigning Western Conference champions, Phoenix Rising, coming to town.
Yeah, and that is going to be difficult, especially we saw what happened with the team of the week when Adam John, so they will be on fire for sure.
Kept in by Powder. Powder trying to do it himself. Kacher, and it's knocked out of bounds. Another substitution. This is what you're talking about, slowing play down. Christian Isley comes into the game. He'll replace the goal scorer on the night, Cordell Cato, with the chip that very well might win this game.
Cordell Cato, the man representing Trinidad and Tobago, the Soca Warrior. Definitely was a warrior today.
Entering play tonight, 9 of his 11 shots were on target. He did not miss the target this time, but still an opportunity for Monarchs. 30 seconds left. A minimum of 30 seconds.
And if they go out tonight and celebrate, Cordell Cato has to buy Omar Gordon a drink. We'll just say an adult beverage. We'll leave it at that. No.
We're at the 2 minutes. Eyes turn to Greg Dopka. Monarchs still get it in. The header down. Lorendi the save, and there's Schmidt to follow it. After the 2 minutes of stoppage time, the 3 points that OKC were about to grab have been erased by Tate Schmidt on the follow-up, and we're square at 1.
The soft defending of OKC comes back to get them. All throughout the match, they have had problems defending, giving up the ball, being very soft in their marking and their defending in terms of attacking the ball in the air. Playwood does an excellent job of winning the ball in the air, and Tate Schmidt in the right place at the right time.
What a twist to this tale. OKC dominated the play. Monarchs came throughout the final 15 minutes, time in and time out, and OKC fended them off for every single one of them except the last one. Tate Schmidt gets his head to the ball. Lorendi can't make the game-saving opportunity. And now Monarchs will get out of Taft Stadium with a point.
Yeah, you can't put this one on Cody Lorendi. You have to put it on the soft marking of the defense.
Cordell Cato will be our man of the match, presented by Mass Mutual. He gets the goal that nearly won the game, but that's not the full story. What a finish to this one here in Oklahoma City. It ends 1-1, and Tate Schmidt is the hero for Monarchs. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here on the Dental Depot post-game show.
Goals are something we outline for ourselves, and oftentimes they can be pretty lofty. When things begin to line up the way we think they should, we appreciate those who helped us along the way, like the help you get with commercial banking from FFB. Our experts are ready to partner with you to help you manage cash flow, oversee accounts through online banking, and help you secure a business line of credit. Because we know you've got better things to do, like grow your business. FFB. We go where you go.
Mercy helps the energy get to the top of their game. We can help you get to the top of yours.
Wrapping things up here on the Dental Depot post-game show. What a finish in Oklahoma City. And let's take a look at our full-time highlights of this one, presented by Mercy. First half saw its opportunities, and this was the goal that was called back because of the offsides. Tate Schmidt, he thought he was in, he thought he had scored, but we stayed scoreless for now.
Yeah, it was a tough break there for Real Monarchs, who really looked very strong in the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of this match. Cody Lorendi, I'm sure when he looks at the film will say, oh, I'm glad that one didn't count because I made a mistake there. But then this ball over the top by Omar Gordon is absolutely brilliant. And then a fantastic touch by Cordell Cato. Jamaica and Trinidad connecting for this goal here. And at this point, you figured OKC, with their record, when they score first, was going to pick up the 3 points. It's a brilliant chip by Cordell Cato, and an even more magnificent ball over the top by Omar Gordon.
Yeah, we flashed that stat, 53 wins and only 12 draws when they score first, and yet Monarchs stayed in it. This was the opportunity that didn't fall for them. It was eventually bounced away by Jones, but 2 good chances. And again, it's Schmidt inside the action.
Absolutely. Being aggressive, going for the ball. But look how hesitant and how soft the marking is from OKC Energy. They're just waiting for the ball to get to them. They're not being aggressive to win the ball in their defensive penalty area.
Now here's the game winner. Schmidt gets his head to the ball, or I should say the ultimate, it felt like a game winner. It ended up as the 1-1 draw. Schmidt follows up his own first opportunity, gets it past Lorenda. You talked about the defense.
Yep, and it's soft marking again, not aggressive in the air. Chang with plenty of time to send in the service. Play well wins the header. Schmidt finishes it.
Tonight's full-time stats provided by First Fidelity Bank, proud founding partner of Energy FC. George, what stands out to you here? I see 16 shots on the right side for Monarchs and much less possession.
Yeah, the possession in favor of OKC Energy. Only 7 shots, only 2 on target. You can't, when you have all of that possession, you need to generate more chances on goal. They did not generate enough chances, and they wound up dropping points in this matchup.
Well, that does it for us here tonight. What a finish at Taft Stadium. Our final score, OKC Energy 1, Real Monarchs 1. For my partner, George Metellus, our entire crew, I'm Spencer Siegel, signing off here on ESPN+. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.